Hello again, I'm Robert Fithin. Just wanted to do a quick video on some records that I've recently acquired. I know I've recently done videos on things like vinyl sales scams, and I did a one on 8 tracks. I've done a video, sort of a satirical video about death tributes that I think went right over a lot of people's heads. So I think I'll just keep it really simple this time and talk about some vinyl finds, like this one. From Betty Davis, They Say I'm Different. This just got re-released. In fact, all of her albums were re-released. This is the one of her original 3 that I did not have. So now my Betty Davis Originals collection is complete, even though this is obviously a reissue. Sounds incredible, and the packaging on this is superior too. It comes with this huge poster. I mean, this thing folds out into an absolutely huge poster that looks like the cover art there. I don't want to bend it up too much, but you get the idea of how big that is. Also, this wonderful booklet is in there as well, with just pages and pages of photos and information. Not a lot of color in this, though. It's pretty much the gold and black and white background with the text on a lot of the pages. But yeah, you get this nice booklet in there with lyrics and photos and all kinds of information. And the vinyl itself is on this clear orange. Betty Davis, They Say I'm Different. If you're not familiar with her music and you like some real deep, nasty funk, you got to check out some Betty Davis. I know I've talked about her before on this channel, but she's definitely one of my favorites. Not appreciated at all in her time. More discovered recently, but I discovered her about, I don't know, 20 years ago or so with her first album that I found, and I just think she's incredible. She was married to Miles Davis for about a year, but don't let that distract you. But yeah, the Betty Davis records, the first 3, they're all incredible. The debut, this one's pretty good. Nasty Gal is excellent. So yeah, I would recommend any of those, and they've all just been reissued, so very easy to get. You don't have to pay those high dollar prices for originals. And like I said, you get all of that cool stuff in the incredible packaging. Here is another reissue. She's just nasty, by the way. She talks about beating somebody with her turquoise belt and just all sexual and just right in your face, just way out there. And the musicians on here, you've got top-notch funk musicians. Buddy Miles even makes an appearance on one song. You got just all kinds of great people involved in this. I don't know why she was not more revered in her time, but for whatever reason, she was kind of overlooked. Probably too nasty, probably too out there, but that's why the albums, They Say I'm Different, But Betty Davis, definitely check her out. Also, the Sonics. Here are the Sonics from 1965. This is a later reissue. It's the one on Norton Records. Picked this up for well under, for like $10, which is well under the lowest Discogs prices. But so glad I did. I got familiar with these guys when I was doing my deep dive into 1965 albums a couple of years ago, when I did that whole year-end countdown thing. And it was just blown away by these guys. So much energy, so much raw energy. It's exactly what you want from a garage rock band from the 60s. These guys do not disappoint at all. Great originals like The Witch and this song about, drinking. He just loves to drink strychnine. It'll cure all your... He suggests that you drink strychnine. I would not suggest that. This was made back in the days when people were, I think on the ball enough to realize that this is just a ridiculous song and you don't actually want to start drinking strychnine. All kinds of great covers on here as well, like usual with the garage rock stuff. They do a killer version of Keep It Knockin' that really rivals Little Richard's as far as energy. They do a lot of great covers on here. Even the bonus tracks in here. This release has 4 bonus tracks, including a couple of Christmas songs, where just in this punk kind of garage fashion, Santa didn't get them anything. They're upset with Christmas. They don't like Christmas. They're pissed off. Here are the Sonics, this reissue from, I believe, 2013, 2009, somewhere around there. But it's the one on Norton Records. And the sound is kind of thin, but I'm not sure if the original was sounding like that or not. But it's kind of thin sounding. But I don't think you get garage rock stuff for the audiophile aspect of it. So yeah, here are the Sonics from 1965. So glad I picked this up. Lots of information here, as the back cover has been completely redone from the original. But yeah, definitely worth the $8, for sure. This was a nice birthday present. Happy birthday to me from Craig, from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, or Plethora if you prefer. It's a Record Store Day release from Dolly Parton, the Monument Singles Collection. All of her early singles. This is what started her career when she was on Monument, on the Monument label. She had a full album called Hello, I'm Dolly Parton. I have that, and there are a few songs that are on that are also on here, but mostly these are super rare singles that you cannot find anywhere, and they've all been collected on this one album. 18 songs on here, but still the sonic quality is great on here. Nice inner sleeve here with photos of the labels. Nice information here on all of the tracks as well. And the album sounds stupendous. It is very bright, very clean sounding. The recordings from like 60 years ago or so still sound fresh. And they did a really good job with this reissue for Record Store Day. It was a little bit expensive, so it made the perfect birthday present. This was like $42. That's why I didn't get it when it came out, because I'm not doing that. But it's great when you get it for free for your birthday. So thank you so much, Craig, from Craig's Vinyl Plethora. But yeah, all kinds of great tunes on here from Dolly Parton. They kind of make her out, I think, producing her more as like a pop queen at the time. She even sounds like she's part of the Shangri-Las on a couple of songs. Sounds like she's a member of a girl group. So it's not exactly country all the way through, but her country stuff does start to sneak in a little bit later with her tragic country songs that she was so great with early on in her RCA career. But yeah, it's that unmistakable national treasure of a voice throughout the entire album. So many great songs on here, except for I'll Put It Off Till Tomorrow. That's a mistake. They made a mistake on here, and the song is supposed to be the single I'll Put It Off Till Tomorrow, but instead and it has that as the title, but instead it's the song Put It Off Till Tomorrow, which is a completely different song. So there is an error on here, but otherwise an incredible collection. Love the cover art as well. Dolly Parton, the Monument Singles Collection. Thanks again, Craig. And thank you to Mark for this one. Lady Gaga, Born This Way. I don't have a lot of albums on vinyl from this era, so it was great to have this. Hard to believe this came out so long ago at this point. This is like 10 years ago or more, I think this was out. The actual cover art for this is different than the CD, where she morphs into like a motorcycle. But this has, Marry the Night, which is one of my favorite Lady Gaga songs, and Born This Way, of course, is on here. You and I, the song about Nebraska. The Edge of Glory is great, too. I don't usually like a lot of pop music like this, but Lady Gaga is kind of a few notches above your average pop star. She really had her own thing going on while she was doing the music. She's kind of more of an actress now. She's multi-talented, obviously. Definitely got her own thing going on, and this just reminds me of my club days. Going out, I was all about the nightlife for a long, long time. And then COVID came along and the shutdown and everything, and I just really never got back into it. And I'm more of just a full-on homebody now. I just stay at home and listen to records. But I was all about going out in the nightlife, 3-4 times a week. We go out and just party it up, and they were always playing Lady Gaga, so it reminds me of those fun times, and I had all kinds of fun. This album sounds really compressed. It's definitely a CD kind of thing. You don't really get much more from the vinyl. It's just the regular black vinyl version too. But yeah, at least I have something from this era on vinyl. And it's Lady Gaga, so it's a little superior to the average pop stuff that comes out. This is kind of interesting. The Pretenders got this in a box of records. Talk of the Town. This is a bootleg of a concert that it says from 1980, but it's actually supposedly from 1979 at the London Theatre in Paris. It has the sonic quality of like a TV show. It's kind of overdriven in a lot of parts, but with the Pretenders sounding even more kind of harsh and punkish than usual live, and then you have the overdriven sound. It kind of helps with that. Great song selection from their early stuff on here. Kicks off with one of my favorite Pretenders songs, The Weight. Also has like, Brass in Pocket, which kind of sounds plodding, kind of sounds like a hard rock plodding song on here. Mystery Achievement, Stop Your Sobbing, Kid is on here. And then some rare stuff like Cuban Slide. They have a couple of rare instrumentals as well. I think when this came out, the EP had not come out yet, so this was a way that they were able to bootleg those onto an album. But yeah, Pretenders, Talk of the Town. Kind of a rare bootleg from these guys, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, sounds great, for what it is. And then there's this, another one from a box of records, Chicago 16. Glad to have Peter Cetera's first solo album here. Actually, okay, technically, it's his second solo album. He had one the year before, just called Peter Cetera. So this is Peter Cetera's second solo album called Chicago 16. This is where he hooked up with David Foster. And you know what happens when people hook up with David Foster. And this, I'd never heard this album all the way through before, and it was absolutely no surprise how this sounds. Mint condition, though. I mean, I've never seen a white cover album look so clean. The vinyl itself is absolutely mint, because of course it is. If this was an album I really liked, it would be in worse condition, but I don't like this album, so of course I get a mint copy of it. But no, yeah, I didn't care for this at all. I didn't think I would like it that much, but I thought I'd like it a little more than I did. It's got a harder rock sound on some of the songs I was kind of surprised by, but still, it's that David Foster production where everything is just super polished and super, I mean, any kind of grit, any kind of real emotion, that's all bleached out. You're left with just this polished, corporate sounding schlock. And that's his signature. A lot of people absolutely love it. He's a very successful guy. He's got a lot of chart success, sold all kinds of albums, teams up with people like Peter Cetera and gives them big comebacks. Can't argue with success, but not for me. It is not for me. I was only familiar with the singles, Love Me Tomorrow, and Hard to Say I'm Sorry, which every time I played that on the radio, I made sure to play Getaway after it, so at least it had some morsel of integrity, but yeah, not a fan. Chicago 17 is, I don't know, okay in spots, but this is just polished dreck is all this is. Not a fan. And anybody that knows about Foster and his production knows that when he teams up with bands, it's usually not the band that's credited on the album. It's usually his own people, and the band shows up and they're like, "Oh, you're here for the photo shoot. Cool." Yeah, good times. On the other end of the spectrum is Fugazi, repeater, not like Chicago 16. These guys are so raw. It's so fun to go through the old Discord records, like CDs and tapes, pull out that ad that was always in there. They always had that paper ad folded up that advertised all the other albums that you could get for like $6.99 and $7.99 on vinyl. Those are no longer the prices of those records. Discord, for whatever reason, doesn't like to do reissues. So you get the originals and they're way, way up there in price. This is an exception. I think it was because it was sold so many, they decided to reissue this. And that's what this is from 2009. Originally came out in 1990. I remember hearing this in 1990, and there was not a lot that sounded like this. These guys, not typical punk, more of the harder kind of, I guess post-punk is what people call it. This was out at the same time as some of the early grunge and the lo-fi alt-rock and stuff like that. But what I love about this album is it's not lo-fi. These guys really seem to care about sonic quality. The bass on this is super clean sounding. The drums are loud and right there. There's none of this lo-fi background. You're in the middle of a basement bar type of thing. These guys, I love the way this sounds. And the music on here is great as well. And yeah, Ian and the guys, of course, he went on to be, the owner of Discord, and the guy that produced this went on to be a chef. But I wish he would have produced more because I love the sound of this. But yeah, I guess he, saw the downfall of, not being able to make money with music, being a producer of punkish stuff anymore. So became a chef because people are always going to want to eat. So that was smart. But yeah, Fugazi repeater. I'm used to having the +3 songs on the CD, but they are not on here. But great stuff. Ramatam from, I think, 73. Got this at a sale, and it's called In April Came the Dawning of the Red Suns. And there's April right there. She's one of the first transgender people to be in music. And yeah, way, way back when. And so that's pretty bold. Listen how great condition this is in. You can still hear well, it did before anyway. The gatefold, when you open it up, it still has that crackling noise. This is in perfect condition for something from 1973, like a rock album like this. I wish it was a little more psychedelic, like it says it is on some of the reviews. Oh, psych rock. This is not psychedelic. It's basically hard rock, some blues rock thrown in there, a little bit of other sounds. Maybe one or two of the song has some psych elements, but it's basically hard rock, early hard rock 70s. She is a great guitarist, by the way. She's just all over the frets, but she is just rocking the hell out. This featured Mitch from the Jimi Hendrix Experience. The album before this, by the time this was out, though, he's out. So you got these two guys. The vocalist, can't remember the guy's name, but he leaves a little bit to be desired. He's kind of got that growly blues voice. It doesn't really work for him. But yeah, I got this and thought it was going to be super eerie, super like maybe even a little satanic, maybe a little evil with that title and that name and that, red faces and everything. But it's really just some real basic hard rock, but some great guitar work in here nonetheless. Jefferson Airplane, nice. Takes off. Now I've had a later pressing of this, and which people that know about this album knows that there's basically 3 versions of this. Some songs had to be censored. One song was completely removed. And this, I was so excited to find out. This is actually the second version, which is kind of rare. This is one that has the uncensored lyrics on it, but still has the one song removed. Running Around This World is not on here. It's on the first issue, which is super rare. I still hope to find that someday. But this does have the uncensored lyrics of, Run Around, and the other song on here where they're talking about the grass sways as you lay under me. That's changed. Don't say you want money. Changes to don't say you think it's funny or whatever. Can't have the prostitution reference in here. But they're all uncensored on this second version. And this is in really good condition too. I'd say this is excellent. It's not exactly near mint, but it's definitely better than VG+. But yeah, love having this. It's the mono version. Jefferson Airplane, their first album, Jefferson Airplane Takes Off. Version number 2. So if I get version number 1 someday, I will have all 3. And that's the one with Running Around This World where they have to take off the word trips. It's actually the B-side of one of the big singles. It's either White Rabbit or Somebody to Love. So I don't understand why they had to take it off the album. But also from the 60s, you have the Beatles and the movie medley. I bought this when it first came out when I was like 9 years old. I had the Real Music album because it was on sale. So that was the third Beatles album I ever had. I still like it. I think the sound quality on that is great. A lot of people don't like it. It's got that souvenir book in it. It's got that great inner sleeve with all the albums on it. Really, really love the Real Music comp. A lot of people just do not like it at all. But this was the 45 that came with it, the Beatles movie medley, and I got this when it first came out. But this is the rare version. This does not have I'm Happy Just to Dance With You on side 2. This has Fab 4 on film, which is basically just an interview discussion, and this is the promo version. So this is kind of hard to find. Really kind of sought after by Beatles fans. So I'm glad I picked this up for 50 cents. And it's in great condition as well. But yeah, the movie medley itself is just kind of dumb. I mean, they take all these Beatles songs and they, a few seconds for each one and turn it into a medley. That was a huge thing in the early 80s. There was the Elvis medley. There was the Beach Boys medley. Beatles movie medley. I think what spawned all that was those stupid-ass Stars on 45 things where this elevator group would get together. We're the Stars on 45! And they would sing like snippets of songs. And I guess record companies, especially Capitol, probably thought, we own these. Why don't we just make our own damn medleys? And that's what you have here. But I'm glad to have this rare version with the Fab 4 on film. Something else pretty rare. I was talking about Dolly Parton. How about Loretta Lynn? I got this for $1. I Like 'Em Country on Reel to Reel. It's got this nice booklet in here of a bunch of advertisements for all kinds of reel-to-reels. That's really the highlight here. Thought I'd get this since apparently reel-to-reels are making a comeback and you can get them for $500 a piece. Brand new. Not collectible old ones like, oh wow, I've got Jimi Hendrix on reel. It's worth something. No, brand new reel-to-reels now selling for $500 per album. People, I told you that was going to happen. In one of my early videos about the whole MoFi thing and audiophiles recordings being stupid price, there's no reason for that, and the consumer sets the price, and if you guys keep paying stupid prices for albums, they're just going to keep going up. Now we get reel-to-reels for $500. Told you so. So I'm probably going to bid. I'm probably going to sell this. Bidding starts, I'll say $400 for Loretta Lynn. I Like 'Em Country on reel-to-reel. Yeah, Howlin Wolf. Closing off with this one, the blues original. Well, not an original, second pressing actually. This is a 61 album. I think I got the 1965 pressing with this label on it. Still sounds great though because it's a mono. Some of these they reissued in stereo with that echo all over the place. You do not want those. You want a mono one like this one. Howlin Wolf and his second album. Blues guy, raspy Chicago blues with all kinds of blues standards on here. You've got, the Little Red Rooster, which is supposed to be a song about his penis. If it's little, that's why he's got the blues. Makes sense. Wang Dang Doodle also on here. I wonder what that's about. That was a great version of that redone by Coco Taylor. You got his original on here. But you also get great, songs on here that were later covered by all the rock guys like Spoonful and Backdoor Man, stuff like that. Also getting some cover songs here that were originally done by Led Zeppelin too. Always get those with the blues artists. At least I'm assuming they were originally done by Led Zeppelin. It's Led Zeppelin who are credited on the labels. All kinds of cool blues tracks on here from Howlin Wolf. And yeah, great Chicago blues. Glad to have this original with this cover on here that looks like a blues version of a Van Gogh painting. But yeah, Howlin Wolf, Second release just called Howlin Wolf. Hopefully I'll get Howlin' the Blues sometime. That was the first one. Got them both on CD. But yeah, just having blues on an actual record just makes it, I don't know, it seems so much more authentic to play this on a record. But yeah, good chess label on this. And so yeah, those are my vinyl finds recently. So I'll probably do another one in a couple of months or so. I like to do just a basic record finds video just every once in a while, in the midst of, like I said, all the 8-track videos and record scam videos and misunderstood satire videos. So thank you so much for watching. Keep those great vinyl community videos coming. I'm Robert Fithen. Thanks again.